Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayasi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. The reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, as you can see here, pinned into the display. Canto 4, Chapter 18, Text 3. Asmilam loke atavamushmin munibhis tatpada rishibhihi drishta yogaha prayuktascha pumsam shreyah prasiddhaye. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. To benefit all human society, not only in this life but in the next, the great seers and sages have prescribed various methods conducive to the prosperity of the people in general. Purport: Vedic civilization takes advantage of the perfect knowledge presented in the Vedas and presented by great sages and brahmanas for the benefit of human society. Vedic injunctions are known as Shruti, and the additional supplementary presentations of these principles, as given by the great sages, are known as Smriti. They follow the principles of Vedic instruction. Human society should take advantage of the instructions from both Shruti and Smriti. If one wants to advance in spiritual life, he must take these instructions and follow the principles. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if one poses himself as advanced in spiritual life, but does not refer to the Shrutis and Smritis, he is simply a disturbance in society. One should follow the principles laid down in Shrutis and Smritis, not only in one's spiritual life, but in material life as well. As far as human society is concerned, it should follow the Manu Smriti as well. For these laws are given by Manu, the father of mankind. In the Manu Smriti, it is stated that a woman should not be given independence, but should be given protection by her father, husband, and elderly sons. In all circumstances, a woman should remain dependent upon some guardian. Presently, women are given full independence like men, but actually, we can see that such independent women are no happier than those women who are placed under guardians. If people follow the injunctions given by the great sages, Shrutis and Smritis, they can actually be happy in both this life and the next. Unfortunately, rascals are manufacturing so many ways and means to be happy. Everyone is inventing so many methods. Consequently, human society has lost the standard ways of life, both materially and spiritually. And as a result, people are bewildered and there is no peace or happiness in the world. Although they are trying to solve the problems of human society in the United Nations, they are still baffled. Because they do not know the liberated instructions of the Vedas, they are unhappy. Two significant words used in this verse are asmin, amushmin. Asmin means in this life, and amushmin means in the next life. Unfortunately, in this age, even exalted professors and learned men believe that there is no next life and that everything is finished in this life. Since they are rascals and fools, what advice can they give? Still they are passing as learned scholars and professors. In this verse, the word amushmin is very explicit. It is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will have a profitable next life, just as a boy is educated in order to become happy later. One should be educated in this life in order to attain an eternal and prosperous life after death. It is therefore essential that people follow what is given in the Shrutis and Smritis to make sure that human mission is successful. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, there is a nice shloka which expresses this Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrikim Viddim Vina Aikantikir Harer Bhakter Utpatevaya Kalpate. This is what Prabhupada is describing also here. He's saying that if you practice devotional service, which also includes your material life, without reference to Smriti and Shruti, Pancharatrikim Vidhim Vina, and also Pancharatrika, Aikankatir Hare Bhaktir Utpatevaya Kalpate. It will actually create disturbance in society, even for following devotional service, if you did not follow Shruti and Smriti. What to speak about material life? So the notion that scriptures are only meant for those who are religious, the notion that scriptures are only meant for those who are faith-based is actually wrong. It is not that the scriptures don't have a rationalized approach. It's not that they don't have an approach that is intellectual, philosophical. No, not true. So, human life, it is a choice. It's not mandatory, somebody would say. Yes, it is not mandatory. It is only mandatory if you want to live a civilized life and you want to actually make progress. And there, of course, we are defining what is progress and what is civilized life. Civilized life definition today is different from what the Vedic scriptures tell us. The Vedic scriptures tell us in terms of the absolute truth, in terms of the creator of this material world, who is speaking and saying that this is how it is created, this is the mechanics of it, this is the reason for creation, and this is what is the end result expected. Every product has got a reason, a particular application, a particular result that will come out of it. In the material world, we see anybody manufactures a product, creates something, you know it has got to be put to use in a particular way. And then you will get the particular result. That's why we buy something. I buy something, I want a particular product, and I want it to do this for me, and I will expect the product to do that for me. So we find ourselves in this material world. We have a material body, we have a material arrangement around us. And if you do not know who has put you in this situation, who has made these things and created these things, what are you supposed to do? These things are million-dollar questions. So it is not that you have to guesswork and try to find out who am I and then speculate and this and that and all that. People think that that is the way we have to do things, and that the burden of self-realization and the burden of understanding this world and the burden of cracking the code of nature and everything is on us. Not at all. It's already given. That's what is Vedic literature. Vedic literature, if you add to your life, everything becomes complete. Where you are, why you are here, who are you, what are you supposed to do, how do you do that, and what's the goal of life, how do you get to it? Because this creation is made with a purpose. It's not that boom, out of the blues, this thing came about, and then we find ourselves here by chance and all that. These are speculative theories. And they have also, we can entertain them, no problem, but they don't seem to be understanding or answering the questions of humanity, answering the questions of existential purpose and things like that. But Vedic literature is very consistent. So if you take the Vedic model and examine it for the truth, it says very clearly there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's mentioned, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions, that the living entity on his own will not be able to crack the code. He will not be able to do. And out of mercy for him, the Lord has given the Vedic literature, so that it will help him to crack it. Means, understand how it works. Who is the cause? And how are things happening? How am I working? Who am I? These are all foundational, fundamental things. That is the meaning of Shruti. Shruti means it is to be heard. Somebody will explain it to you, Guru. And it has to be heard, ingested, digested properly, understood, clarifications sought, questions asked. And then there is an understanding, oh yes, this is good chance, this could be possible. If you look at that Vedic model and what is given in that, it is very scientific, logical, based on the truth, leads you towards understanding of life, and it serves as a manual. All that you're looking for is available. There's some prejudice and some bias that has to be removed. So I often say that it's very difficult for me to accept the fact that you're faith-based, a statement, a derogatory statement, as though those who are rationalizing don't have faith. They do have faith on their rationality, their faculties, that this is enough for me to crack the universal code and I'll be able to get to the truth. That is a great belief. I actually don't believe in that. I don't think without the help of Vedic literatures, I'll be able to crack the code, because it is insufficient knowledge that I can gain through my senses, through my mind, my brain, and etc. There's a certain limit to it, and we have seen it from eons. And every time they have got one type of reality that they fix themselves in, it's proven to be wrong over a period of time. It's proven to be wrong over a few hundred centuries. And then they change it. And this is going on now also. There's a landmark change that's coming in civilization and society because of this COVID situation. People are rethinking how we have dealt with nature, why there is climate change, why there is coronavirus, why there is tsunami. All these things are connected, and people are understanding that there needs to be a paradigm shift in the way we understand the world around us. We understand ourselves. So in the past also, there were things like that. There was a type of living which today will look like, wow, horrible, amazingly horrible. Slavery. Whole world was, having slaves of people. They were whipped and made to do very horrible things. Look at America's background and its history. It's based on slavery. It's based on killing all the native people there. Look at any of the other histories. You will see it's all got a dark and dingy, dim past, which they want to brush under the carpet many times. Look at the British history, colonizing the world. And look at ourselves in India. Look at the history we have of colonization and how deeply we are embedded in that. Even today, we are under that influence. Oh, what a powerful influence that is. And slowly, slowly, as people come to know it, they shed it. So there have been different waves of such understanding, which have all been proven wrong because they were not explaining the truth properly. So wherever Vedic literature has explained it, it has stayed for much longer time, for much, much longer time. Because it's also a model. I'm just saying, I'm not even saying that it is the absolute truth. You must accept it. Like Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. I am saying that even examine it as a model. You'll see it's a wonderful model, very holistic. Everything is interconnected and everything is explained. Exactly the type of model that people are looking for today. So to dismiss the Shruti and the Smriti and the Vedic literature as just, something, just one other person's, statements or something, it's totally wrong. Different types of interpretations have been given because of the academic setting that revolves around the understanding of Vedic literature nowadays. And that is more powerful and more penetrative. And that is what is available. And to a great extent, you can say that you may be able to accept that with all the weighing of it in terms of logic, in terms of history, in terms of understanding everything. But that's why that same thing can be understood according to the prescription of how it should be understood. Right? So that is why in Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, that vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. You have to have a person who has read it, understood it, practiced it, and realized it to some extent or a greater extent or to a complete extent, to be able to share that conviction with you and answer your questions. That is the way the Vedic model is understood. It's not understood by a remote, isolated reading, closeted somewhere in the woods, all alone by yourself. And you may get some understanding, definitely. But you will be overcome by your own inadequacies, your own problems of the imperfect senses, etc., etc. So it's always better to have a person who has read it, has realizations, has applied it. Yasya devi parabhaktir yata devi tata guru tasyaite katitahi artaha prakashante mahatmana. It is only to those persons who have faith in such a preceptor and the Supreme that the imports of this Vedic literature are automatically revealed. So don't think that if we just grab the Vedic literature and read it, we can unlock the secrets. It is so powerful. It's got these passwords located in it, and these passwords are not something that can be unlocked using a machine. It's a far more subtler password. And when we surrender to Guru, only then, through him, can you hear it and understand it. This is the way to understand the Vedic literature. It's not that because, okay, I accept the Shruti and I'll take it and run away and I will do my own thing with it. It's like, when children play football or you see adults are playing football, children also taking part in it. The kids come and take the ball and run away, laughing. They understand that that's the main target of both the sides. That's the most important thing. They go and pick it up and run away. You see, the game will stop. It's not that you take your thing and run away. You take the Vedas and go away somewhere and master it on your own. It's never mentioned. That's the way you will understand it. So the world as it is manifested and as we find ourselves in the world needs an explanation. And the explanation given by humankind is just speculation because they're as good as me and you and anybody else. They find themselves here and they think about it and they explain it. And anyone who has got a fertile brain can have his own perception of what the world is about. It'll be, speculations galore. Why should I listen to you? Any different from what he would say or I can say by using my fertile imagination and mind and faculties, which very much you also have. They are all same. So it requires an outside agency to explain this to us. If I am imprisoned in some way in the jail, in the prison house. My hands are tied. I cannot expect another prisoner to release me. I should have somebody who is free coming from the outside to release me, whose hands are not tied. But if each one of us who is actually hand-tied and who's inside the prison house claims to be the liberator, and I've got a notion, I've got an understanding, then we are in for disappointment. And that's what's been happening. So the Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrikim Vidhim Vina, that whole thing can be understood coming in the parampara. That is why if we don't follow that, there'll be all sorts of speculations, all sorts of arguments, and this side and that side, and polarizations in the left wing and the right wing of it, the liberals and the conservatives, and all sorts of positions are taken by people. Because there is no absolute truth about it. And absolutism, they hate it. They think that different viewpoints should be accommodated. Yes, true, it should be accommodated, but it should lead to understanding of the reality. What is the use of simply being tolerant and having free speech if I'm not going to get the ultimate goal of human life properly designed and understood? Right? So free speech is not a problem actually in Vedic literature. Vedic literature is very, very broad. The Shat-darshanas, you will see that Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Karma, Yoga, Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa, all of them together, the 6 darshans. Only one of them very strongly states about the absolute truth, Vyasadev's Vedanta Sutra. All the others are actually coming a little close to theistic philosophy, but mostly not at all touching it to such an extent. Nyaya, Vaisheshika and all that are very lightly theistic, but they all propound a different this thing. And it is open, anybody can examine it. It's even considered Vedic. So some people would say that Vedic literature also propounds an atheistic philosophy. It does. There is an open ground for anybody to interpret it that way. But the real core of Vedic literature is talking about the supreme person, the supreme absolute truth. And if you don't want to take that, which mostly people don't take and accept, then there are other layers of it. And people accept those layers according to their own tendencies, their proclivities, their liking, their conditioning, etc. But if you want to know the real truth, the Bhagavad Gita explains that. The Bhagavatam explains that. Artoyam Brahmasutranam Bharatartha Vinirnaya Gayatri Bhashya Ruposo Vedartha Paribramritaha. It is mentioned very nicely that the Bhagavatam is the real commentary, natural commentary of the Vedanta Sutra. And the Vedanta Sutra is accepted by everybody. Vyasadeva is no ordinary sage like, Kannada, Kapila, Patanjali. They all respect Vyasadeva a lot. Why? Because he condensed all these ideas and put it in sutra format. And also, it's not that the sutra format always speaks, the absolute truth like that. In order to lead you to the absolute truth, it gives many formulas. And all those formulas point towards the absolute truth with a very strong philosophical basis. Interpretations of the Vedanta Sutra are also there. And some of them are impersonalistic, some are mostly personalistic. So there is a choice of ways you can also understand and ingest it. Nobody can interfere with it. And that's your individuality. That's your desire. So in this world, you'll always see people who even read the Shruti and give a very atheistic idea, or read the Shruti and Smriti and even give an impersonalistic idea, and read the Vedic and Shruti and give it a very Bhakti-oriented personalistic idea. And Vyasadev's understanding is that the personalistic idea is supreme. There is an absolute truth who is a personality. So personalism and personality is a hidden aspect of the Vedic literature. And that can be cracked only by a person who really understands the Vedic literature in terms of personalism, in terms of all that. And when we hear from him, it awakens our original bhakti. We come out fully as persons. So the amazing thing about Vedic literature is you can go through in stages through the Varnashrama and understand it. You can also directly express your bhakti to the Lord, which is the main principle of the Vedas, which is the main goal of the Vedas, to actually bring you close to that supreme person and have you love him as you are eternally prone to do. Because you are anandamayo bhyasat and you seek rasa. Rasam hi evayam labdhvananda bhavati raso vai saha. Everything is that. Rasa, relationship with the Supreme. Rasam hi evayam labdhvananda bhavati. Labdhva means to achieve, to profit from it, to acquire it. Labdhva ananda. If you get that, that is when you will enjoy ananda. Ananda bhavati. It will occur to you. It will come to you. So, the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya very brilliantly explains the content of the Shruti. This is his beautiful explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. The Atma Rama verse, his dialogues with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, his dialogues with Prakashananda Saraswati, very clearly explains what's the real meaning of the Vedanta Sutra, which affords many meaning according to the person who's interpreting it. So the Supreme Lord himself, Lord Chaitanya, has spoken it and given a very clear explanation of it. And he says the hidden thing, main thing is bhakti. And he very clearly says that in Bhagavad Gita also. And that's why Bhagavad Gita is so famous. Because it contains that essential, truthful element which everybody is seeking, right? So Shruti, Smriti means don't have to dismiss it as something faith-based. Shruti and Smriti are very deep, very broad, and affords all sort of explanations of this world and has a core content of the real absolute truth, which normally is not so easily accessed, right? So that's why you will see in the Vedic whole, what do you call, gamu of teachings, that all these instructions and stories and anecdotes and fables and all sorts of things are meant to convey the absolute truth. And it says that the absolute truth is a person. So Lord Chaitanya's pastime with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is very wonderful. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya raises these questions. And then Lord Chaitanya says, I don't understand what you're saying. How can you explain the Vedanta Sutra like this? And then he goes ahead and explains it. When he explains it, it's very stunning to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. That personal explanation, how did I miss it, is what all of them felt. How did I miss that understanding? It's so clear, right? So unless you have that grace of the Lord, grace of Guru, you cannot decode it and crack it. That's the password. That's the challenge. You may take it and run away like you take the ball and run away. But how are you going to be able to open it and crack it and understand it? So it's mentioned in the Mahabharata also. Tarko apratishta vibhinachutayo nasa vrishir yasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatasattamta. Right? The real solid truth, the absolute truth, is hidden in the heart of a pure devotee. Therefore, follow his footsteps. Right? Follow his footsteps. Don't underestimate a pure personality like Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And don't think that his product that he has given us in the form of this Vedic literature is in any way insufficient. It's not. So there are various leelas of the Lord which show this, like I'm talking to you about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, wonderful leela, wherein, Lord Chaitanya shows mercy to Sarvabhauma actually. And Sarvabhauma also is an intelligent man, very well read. And he somehow develops affection for Lord Chaitanya. He's attracted to Lord Chaitanya. Although he just trounces his philosophy and says that, no, you don't know, I'll tell you. Like that. And he takes it upon himself that I know better. Lord Chaitanya very patiently listens to him for 7 days, explain the Vedanta Sutra in a very impersonalistic way. What an austerity he must have gone through. That person, that original personality, sitting in front of him. And he's a sannyasi. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya ventures to actually present the Vedanta Sutra in an impersonalistic manner to that supreme person. And that's why he very nicely, sweetly replies, I do understand the Vedanta Sutra, but I don't understand what you are talking. It makes him furious, but it makes it very interesting for him also as a true intellectual. Sarvabhauma is a real true intellectual, not just a speculator. He says, okay, you tell me what you know. And then Lord Chaitanya starts explaining the Vedanta Sutra very simply. It's so simple, and it really is, he gets awestruck. How did I miss this? How did I ever miss this understanding? It's obvious like that. And Lord Chaitanya explains that, brilliant. This is what a devotee who surrenders to Guru actually gets. A very simple sail through in the understanding in Lord Chaitanya's period. Even though you may be least qualified, it's because of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the mercy of pure devotees, that this flows down to you, although you are most unqualified. Flows to you in a very simple way. Here it is, cracked version of it. You can take it. Right? So that's what stunned Sarvabhauma. And he knew that you must be that supreme person. To have explained it so well, and is using his own intellectualism, using his own understanding, he knew you must be that person. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, I am. Stand, behold, I'll show you my form. And he showed him his form as Lord Chaitanya, as Krishna, as Lord Ramachandra, many different ways. Shadbhuja Gauranga was shown to him. And then Sarvabhauma decided, I must surrender. I've got it now. Because he was a genuine person. He was genuinely interested in the truth. And Lord Chaitanya understood that. And he had just been misled in the wrong direction. And he very happily surrendered to Lord Chaitanya. Such a brilliant intellectual, See, one thing is being intellectual. The other thing is being a person who has a lot of information. Intellectualism means actually being able to come to a conclusion. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was blessed with that conclusion. Similarly, the same thing happened also with Prakashananda Saraswati and his team of Mayavadi sannyasis. They had a diametrically opposite opinion of Lord Chaitanya. And they said, you don't know Vedanta. You don't know the Vedas. Why are you jumping and dancing? Sit down and read the Vedanta, was their feeling. We have adopted it. And we call each ourselves Narayana. Dando, Grahana, Narun, Narayanam Bhavet. Each one of us has taken a Ekadanda, recognizing ourselves as sannyasis. If you become a sannyasi with an Ekadanda, it means you're as good as Narayana. So they paid obeisances to each other, saying, Namo Narayanaya, to each other. And in between came Lord Chaitanya in Varanasi. The Brahmana came and invited, and Lord Chaitanya went to that particular program. And he assumed a very, very humble role. He sat down in the washing place after washing his feet. And the sannyasis who were waiting for him, especially Prakashananda Saraswati, said, no, come and sit here. He said, no, I am a very inferior sannyasi. I am low level, not like you people. It was actually a very sarcastic comment to start off with. But Prakashananda Saraswati and all of them who are very intelligent and well-read also knew there is something about this person. And then he personally pulled him up with his hands. When he touched the Supreme Lord, I'm sure that he got completely purified. And he did this seva, please come and sit amidst us. And he was sitting in the middle and everybody else was surrounding him. And that wonderful glow and tejas Lord Chaitanya exhibited. And they were influenced by him. They actually completely head over heels fell for him. And his sweet instructions, there again, Lord Chaitanya very humbly presented, my Guru told me, Guru More Murkha Dekila, he's found me to be a fool. And Siksha he gave me saying, you just chant the holy name. So I am just following that order and I'm chanting the holy name. And I find that when I chant, I am so deeply involved in this feeling of affection and love that wells up inside me for Krishna. And what can I do? I feel like dancing and I need to dance, right? So when he spoke these things in a sweet manner and explained what is the Vedanta Sutra, how you should understand it, all of them were so enlightened because they're all educated people. And it requires somebody like Lord Chaitanya to come and crack open. Don't be envious of God. Please understand the information, the instructions of God. So this way, Prakashananda Saraswati and all those of them heard from Lord Chaitanya the Vedanta Sutra very simply. And they surrendered to Lord Chaitanya. They fell at his feet and said, accept us as your disciple. So in spirit, they were all disciples of Lord Chaitanya. But he said that, no, you've already been initiated properly and you should follow this. So they were so happy. Prakashananda Saraswati surrendered. All those big sannyasis surrendered. And Lord Chaitanya, by his very sweet nature, Krishnavarnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam, right? Yajnahi Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedashaha. So he had no great weapons. He had nothing else with him, just his wonderful behavior. And in this way, both of them got enlightened in what is the Shruti. What is the essence of the Vedic literature is to understand the supreme absolute truth, Krishna. That was understood so nicely by all of them because of the appropriate preaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So in history, we have many of these instances of the Vedic literature explaining very nicely what is the real meaning, why it should be adopted. So Prabhupada is making the case here in this purport that if man makes his own laws, man-made laws, and neglects God's laws, there is never any good fortune. Everything that you want by making those laws is already available in those wonderful God's instructions. And if we simply learn to follow, we immediately shoot ourselves up to a very high stage of realization and understanding of the absolute truth. Right? So I'll stop here. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Any questions you have, please? You can ask in the chat or you can post it. Chandil Prabhu, Hare Krishna Maharaj, unqualified person essentially do not have what it takes to get it. How can I aim for something which I know is above my ability? That's why you're supposed to accept a guru. You're not supposed to, when you know you've already accepted it's beyond my ability, you should accept a bona fide spiritual master and take it forward from there. Nobody is asking you to do it on your own. It definitely says you must accept a spiritual master, otherwise you will not understand. Okay, Shandil? Right. Any other question or comment people would like to ask? Any question? Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada.